Hey, what's up? It's Squid. So I decided to do a weird video where I ran Blood Aqueduct for 10 hours. Actually, more than 10 hours it ended up being. But basically, loot from 10 hours of Blood Aqueduct video. And really quick, before I get into showing loot, I want to show how you actually do this because way back in the day, I had to Google it. So what you're gonna do is go obviously Act 9, click the waypoint, run it through, and then when you get to a waypoint, all you have to do to farm, basically to repeatedly run without having to wait, is Control click and click New Instance. I know if people have been playing PoE for a really long time, that's like day one super basic stuff, but once upon a time I had to Google that as well. So basically I ran. Hold on, let me get my notes over here on screen. I ran 10 hours of farming Blood Aqueduct. I listed some pros and cons, some general notes that I want to talk about really quick. So I guess let's just start right off. I don't really have anything else to say. Oh, I should say the idea for this came about because someone in a Discord that I'm in for PoE related content said that he was making 6 to 10 exalts a day farming ossuary. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how, what, I don't, there might be some drop in ossuary that's like crazy good, but I certainly don't know. And so I decided, well, ossuary is kind of a cancer tile set and I don't like it. But what's a cool tile set? Oh, Blood Aqueduct. And so I just did it. I committed. It took me, I did it over a couple days, so a few hours a day. And I guess just start talking about pros and cons. So I'll go through pros first. The first one, zero investment. This is exactly what it sounds like. When you're running maps, you got to think you're running. So let's say we're running tier 11 maps or, tier 10 maps. The map itself is a couple chaos. Then we're talking about chiseling it up to, and this is to get the most out of maps. Obviously, you don't have to do this, but if we're talking about getting the most return we can easily get, we're talking about chiseling it to get its quality up, alking it, potentially volleying it. So we're already up to quite a few chaos, and then sextants, and then frags, and so it can get pretty expensive. Granted, you do get returns accordingly, but it requires investment up front. This requires zero. I mean, literally nothing. You just have to have the waypoint, and which kind of leads into my next point. I mean, any build can do this. Any build, you can play completely solo self-found as a noob and get to this point. And I even tested it. I like purposefully took myself down to really low res and just sat in the middle of enemies and they still couldn't hurt me. Granted, I am level 93 on this character. But I mean, I remember one time I actually thought I killed all the enemies. I left. I went AFK for a couple minutes and then came back. And I had been standing in the middle of a pack and they'd been attacking me the whole time and hadn't damaged me with this reduced res. The only things that could really kill me were corpse detonation, strongboxes, explosions, and then like spell drop on death packs, but they just hurt me. They didn't even come close to killing me. They would do like 10% of my health. So any build can run this. I mean, it's so easy because it's just a low level. Fast to run. It's basically just a straight line. You run in one direction. Pretty simple. I mean, it just each run was taking me with a pretty slow. I mean, this is a juggernaut character, so with a pretty slow build, I was still able to do runs in under 2 minutes. Almost zero danger to the player. Like I said, this sort of goes back on this point. I was AFK in the middle of packs. I mean, you could be like a level 75 character and you're virtually no danger. A surprising amount of soul fight. I ended up getting 2,553 soul fight from this. So about 250 soul fight per hour. Which obviously isn't good, but like I was shocked. I didn't think I would get any soul fight. And then the main thing, the biggest thing about this that I was interested in is it's super fast to farm your syndicate stuff, your safe houses, your boss fight. In my 10 hours, I was able to do 6 safe houses, and this is coming from someone. I don't like syndicate content. I don't ever do it when I'm mapping. I just skip it. I don't think it's fun. Um, I don't find it rewarding enough. The trap stashes are kind of cool. Tiny's trial is kind of cool, but on average, I don't find it rewarding enough to justify the time. And when you get up into, tier 13, 14, 15 maps, they are ridiculously hard. They scale so much. But in Blood Aqueducts, they're little bitches. But the main goal of this was to basically see how fast I could farm these up, and I basically got one every 2 hours, a little faster, like one every hour and a half. But those are basically all the outright pros that I could think of. It's not a super long list. We start getting into cons, and you'll see why I would maybe not recommend this. One of the cons is it's a low-level zone, so that means you're not going to get crafting bases. If you don't know what a crafting base is, a helmet, something like this might be a crafting base. Like this is a I-86 Eldered helmet. Basically, you can't get the best mods on low item level stuff, and because it's a level 61 zone, even when I was hitting, +5 chests, that's 65, and 65 is garbage. You don't want that. So this is kind of a con, not really that big of a deal in my opinion. Pack sizes are on the smaller side, so what I was finding is about halfway through, this is a Tectonic Slam build, this character, and I just literally swapped out my Tectonic Slam for a Consecrated Path, which I would never advise. This is not built for Consecrated Path, but I was finding it hard to jump from pack to pack like you would in a map because there just wasn't enough monsters. So, I would say builds with really high move speed would excel in this. Low total amount of unique drops. I would say 70 to 80% of the total uniques I got to drop were from either Alva or Syndicate people. And then low level may mess up your Betrayal stuff, like your Syndicate stuff. I'm going to be honest, like I said, I always skip the content. I don't like it. So that's why I put con question mark, because I honestly don't know if that's like a thing. But it might, if that is. Useless Abyss content. I got several Abysses, and I would do them because there's just a chance that the Troves can drop currency, but obviously you can't get Abyssal Depths until you're past tier 3 in maps, and so really it was just sort of a time waster. I don't know if I would do them looking back. And this is the biggest con by far, is after doing this for a long time, basically your drop rate for humility cards goes down, like it tanks, which sucks, but it is what it is. Like I said, this was mostly to test out how fast we could farm up safe houses. And then these are pros slash cons. The first one is a really simple layout. Like I said, it's a straight line. I mean, you can't mess it up, but that's pretty boring. Bestiary, this is one I was constantly getting Einhar, but he was, they're just low-level garbage ones, so I don't know if you would even want that. And has basically the exact same layout and drops as the channel map. Pro, because you can basically run channel maps without any investment, but con, because at least with channel maps you could get some better stuff. And then I wrote this little note. PoE is sick, though, because you can still get like an Exalted Orb even doing this kind of stuff. You can still get crazy drops doing this. Oh yeah, and then here's basically, would I recommend this? Not really, but I wrote down like a scenario in which I could see it being good. It could be potentially good for a really fast magic find build, because you would obviously get way more drops. But it could also be good for someone who wants to do an MF build but can't make it in maps yet. Like, you're stuck in like tier 1, 2 maps because you just don't have the currency to push past that barrier, but you can't grind maps to get the currency. We've all had builds that have gotten stuck like that before, and it sucks. So this could be a good little like couple exalt buffer, few exalts. It's not going to be mind blowing how much money you make. So I'm going to show you the tab. This is everything I got. This is my assorted loot. And this is kind of funny. I started doing this, and as you can see, I got a divine orb. This was my first run. I got this divine orb, and I was like, "Oh, I should record from now on. So any like Pog drops that I get, I can put them in the video's highlights." I literally didn't get anything until everything else here. This is a 6 link. Everything else here dropped in the last hour after I was like, well, this obviously isn't worth it. So that was kind of funny. But I'll start with the currency. So basically for our currency, we got 334 jewelers, 61 chrome, 41 fusing, 41 chance, 21 alchemy, 21 chisels, 42 alteration, 8 glass blowers, 5 GCPs, 3 regal, 20 scouring, 11 regret, 22 chaos, 7 vol orbs, 3 horizon, 2 blessed, 1 white sextant, 3 yellow sextants, 1 divine orb, 1 harbinger orb, and 1 annulment orb. So a pretty good spread across the board, as long as if I counted everything right, and if I did my math right, that is 224 chaos total from currency drops. Now for random drops, what just happened? Random drops. That's like basically everything other than currency. 1 enlighten, which honestly I did not expect. I almost missed it because I just was like, what the hell was that? 1 enlighten, 21 chaos. I got a corrupted 6 link because one thing I didn't expect was you get a lot of the corrupted Vol side areas, like a lot of them. And this was, I think, either the second to last or the last run that I did. I got this. I was so surprised. I got 3 full sets of humility cards, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's suspicious that he got exactly 3 sets. Well, at the beginning when I said I went over 10 hours, that was because I was just under 3 full sets, so my OCD pushed me to complete full 3 sets. But if I had been true, I would have been like 2 full sets and I think 7 out of 9. 1 wealth and power, which I was shocked to get not only an enlightened gem but a wealth and power card. And then 3 obscured cards. If you don't know, you get these from abysses, I guess, because that's where I got them. I didn't know that was a thing, but I got 3 of them from abysses, so that was interesting. I got a polished divination scarab, and then 1 gilded sulfite scarab. This was from safe houses. I decided to include that in the loot, even though this is all we got. This and the harbinger's orb. This is all we got worthwhile from those. 3 trash scarabs. I just put them as 3 chaos. They might be worth more. I don't really care. And then this is a big thing. So like I said, you do a lot of these Vol side areas, and so I ended up getting 39 total frags, and frags are expensive. These are 2 chaos each right now, as of me recording this video in Betrayal League, and that's just because they're not that easy to farm late in the game, and so they're pretty expensive. It's a good amount of chaos that I wasn't expecting. So the total from random drops is 261 chaos, and so the total value from all my 10 hours of farming is 485 chaos, or 2.9 exalts as of recording this. That's almost 50 chaos per hour while farming in a level 61 zone. Ending thoughts, I'm honestly not sure if I would say it's worth it. Like I said, it would be worth it for like an MF build that couldn't quite make it in maps, but you didn't want to give up on the build. You could farm currency. I mean, an MF build, let's say you had 80% quant or whatever, you'd obviously get way more stuff. And I will admit, I could have also made a lot more currency, because one thing I wasn't doing was I didn't pick up unique drops and vendor them, because I didn't want to have to keep vendoring stuff every single time. And I'm going to be honest, I was pretty lazy at times, like picking up these low tier currencies, because it's so hard to go from maps where you're like, I'm not going to pick up an orb of alteration, to picking up each one. So I probably missed Of each of these low currencies, I probably missed at least another full stack. So if you were to do this yourself with a more efficient build, and you were vigilant about picking everything up and you had quant, you would definitely be making like, I would say 70 or 80 chaos per hour, which is not great. I think honestly, I can tell you right now that's like way lower than if you were farming even tier 2 or 3 maps, even farming channel, uh, you would probably make 2 or 3 times that. But like I said, that requires investment. And, this isn't bad. If you are, if you're free to play and you're trying to farm up a bond, this is potentially a good method. And you could run this for a few hours, like maybe 20 hours total over like a week. And then you go to the Grand Exchange and buy a bond. And then once you're a member, you can make a lot more money. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my loot from 10 hours of Blood Aqueduct. Hopefully, hopefully you guys don't do this because I wanted to die.